It's 1975 Minnesota, and in an office one man is about to pick a name for his company's pizza box. This decision in less than 25 years will take his net worth to over $1 billion. For now though, he is just Marvin Schwan, and he recently lost everything his father built in a devastating fire, including his family home. So, with a burning desire to rebuild everything, he bet all his hopes and dreams on the only facility that still survived, an already failed pizza venture. But that's not the most interesting part of the story. What's interesting is the name that he chose for this business of hopes and dreams. In an era where pizza was still considered too ethnic in many states, any other businessman would have gone with something simple, symbolic, not controversial. But for Marvin, the only name worthy enough to be on his box was the name of a killing machine in Kaiser's army, a national hero who killed 80 men and commissioned 60 silver cups to celebrate each he killed, who once hung a chandelier made from a dead pilot's engine in his dining room, but still many biographers called James Dean of his era, beloved even by his enemies. So here's a true story of a legend that crossed the seas to the United States, that once took American lives and then became a face of a beloved fast food brand in America. This is the story of Red Baron Frozen Pizza. In the chaotic year of 1914, both British and German soldiers found themselves singing Christmas Carol in the trenches. They wanted to go back home, or at least hope winter would put a stop to the World War I. But when it didn't, soldiers on both sides went on to celebrate Christmas together, sharing drinks and even playing football. By this time, many other nations already jumped into the conflict against Germany, so the last thing they wanted was to lose the support of the public in homeland. So the High Command needed something to redirect people's attention. Entered the flying ace Manfred Von Richthofen. Unlike the nameless trench soldiers that were killing each other with no glory to celebrate, Richthofen's 1v1 duels in the sky were like gladiator battles. Handpicked and trained by the father of air combat himself, he quickly became a national hero when he defeated 22 warplanes in a single month, turning those 30 days into a highlight that would become known as the Bloody April. Couple that up with the fact that he not only received the highest honor in Germany, but a bounty on his head in the form of Victoria Cross, and the tale of Red Baron became a legend. Then, just 1 year and 80 confirmed air victories later, Baron was the best in the world by a huge margin. Yet what truly made him memorable was not the skills but the qualities he displayed. For example, once after an intense dogfight when his opponent's gun jammed, instead of shooting him down for an easy kill, he waved him to the ground, walked over, shook his hand, and then just left without harming him. Combine stories like this with his iconic red plane, earning the nickname Baron, and the fact that he wrote his own biography which became an international bestseller while he was still active in the duty, and it's no wonder that he built a fan base even among his haters. That's why I think if there's a single word that can describe Red Baron, I'm sure even his enemies would agree. It's excellence. Even in his death, he was laid to rest with full honor. 6 Royal Flying Corps members, his enemies, carried his casket with a wreath reading "To a gallant and worthy foe." Fast forward to 1930s, and America was deeply fascinated by war stories that authentically captured that experience. This fascination in turn became the perfect spectacle for a certain film industry that loved seeing grand epic stories on its big screens, ultimately giving birth to the movie Don Pedro, which captured the entire nation's attention. As for the first time ever, war aviation and its legends left their mark on American culture. I think more than the quality of the movie, the timing was perfect for the story, as it was 10 plus years after the World War I, but a decade before the impending disaster that was Nazi Germany. So, for lots of German immigrants and their kids in America, it became a thing of pride. Perhaps, again, for the very first time, they witnessed their culture's hero being celebrated worldwide, regardless of their victory or defeat in World War I. One young man with German root who felt inspired was Charles Schulz, a small-time cartoonist who later decided to revisit the legend for his comic Peanuts. Drawing a little helmet on his favorite character Snoopy and loving the vibe, he immediately started to imagine him flying across Europe as a great fighter pilot. All he really needed was a goal for the storyline, and what could be better for a flying ace than going against the legendary Red Baron in a never-ending rivalry. So on October 10th, 1965, Snoopy's and his rivalry with Red Baron became part of the American culture. This marks a pivotal moment for the Red Baron's legend. passed down to a new generation, it became so popular that not only did real-life Air Squadron adopt a Snoopy, but NASA followed suit, naming the module of Apollo 10 after Peanuts characters. Then came toy lines, music video, tooth bears, video games, TV shows, and even a Japanese Power Ranger clone. Though its most recognized form in Japan will eventually be Porco Rosso from Studio Ghibli, where Hayao Miyazaki imagined Red Baron as a bounty hunter instead, who would rather be a pig than a fascist. All of this leads us back to Marvin and his family. You see, in a fascinating twist of fate, Marvin's father, Paul, was in fact there in the German trenches when Baron was his beats in 1917. And he often told the stories of Red Baron to his young sons as a way to connect them to their heritage. However, when the World War II began, it backfired. Not only the upstanding got affected, but the kids started to call Marvin and his brothers Nazis. As a way to safeguard his children from hate, Paul became a tight-lipped man, telling kids to do the same. Ultimately, Marvin took his father's advice to heart, but promises himself that he would carve out his own identity in America through his own achievements. And the opportunity came in 1969 when Paul passed away, leaving behind a successful dairy business in Marvin's hand. And less than a year later, in 1970, Marvin decided to switch things up. Instead of sticking with their usual frozen product, he bought a facility with 100 pizza ovens and started delivering fresh hot pizza instead. Though he ended up scaling back promotion greatly when some bad mushroom caused a botulism scare, basically a severe type of food poisoning. But everything changed when the family facility caught fire in 1974. Caused by an ammonia leak, it was so devastating that even 5 fire companies together couldn't stop it. Now driven by a new desire of honoring his father's legacy, he decided to go all in with that same failed pizza facility. He took a leap of faith, and the answer he came up with was brilliantly simple. All he had to do was to merge the benefit of a frozen dairy business with the potential of his fresh fast food pizza. And thus Schwan's flagship frozen pizza was born. So back to the pivotal meeting to choose a name. It has to be something connected to his family roots, that honors his father's legacy and of course can easily be remembered as a cool brand image. Then by chance one of his subordinates mentioned the name Red Baron. And hearing this, Marvin face, known for his serious and unexpressive look, light up with excitement. And it makes sense. What could be better for Marvin than that one iconic German legend from his childhood that has taken many forms but remained untainted in what it represents: excellence. As they say, legends don't die, they only transform. And Marvin and Charles did exactly that with Red Baron. So if you go to the supermarket today and come across the image of Baron, don't forget to appreciate the legend behind it and the people who made it iconic.